Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to succeed. But let me ask you something. Who are you proving it to? Who do you need to believe in you? Who do you think is out there waiting to hand you validation? Because if the answer is anyone other than yourself, you already lost. The only competition you truly have in this life is with yourself. It's not about being better than the next person, not about outrunning somebody else, not about comparing your journey to someone else's timeline. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. The moment you start realizing that, everything changes. See, the problem most people have is they spend too much time watching others, watching what they have, what they do, how far ahead they seem to be. They measure their progress against someone else's finish line. But what they don't realize is that everybody's path is different. Everybody's race is different. And the second you start focusing on what someone else is doing, you take your eyes off your own progress. You slow yourself down. You weaken your momentum. You allow doubt to creep in. It's easy to look at someone else's success and feel like you're behind. It's easy to see their highlight reel and wonder why your reality doesn't look the same. But what you don't see is their struggle. What you don't see is the work they put in behind the scenes, the sacrifices they made, the battles they fought to get there. And even then, none of that matters because their journey isn't yours. Their story isn't yours. The only thing that matters is what you are doing to grow, to improve, to evolve. Every single day you wake up with a choice to do the work or to make excuses. A choice to push yourself or to stay comfortable. A choice to either be better than you were yesterday or to stay the same. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about discipline. It's about accountability. It's about having the mindset to say, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm focused on my own path. You have to stop measuring yourself against people who are running a different race. Stop worrying about what they have, what they're doing, how far ahead they seem to be, because while you're watching them, you're wasting time that you could be using to build yourself. You're giving energy to things that don't serve you. You're feeding insecurity instead of fueling progress. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to the person you were last week, last month, last year. Are you making progress? Are you learning? Are you growing? If the answer is yes, then you are winning. If the answer is no, then it's time to get to work. And let's be real, some days it's not going to be easy. Some days you're going to feel like you're not moving fast enough, like you're not doing enough, like you're falling behind. But hear me when I say this, growth takes time. Progress isn't always visible. Some of the biggest transformations happen in silence. In the moments when nobody's watching, when the results haven't shown up yet. But you have to trust the process. You have to stay consistent. You have to keep putting in the work even when it feels like nothing is happening, because one day you're going to look back and realize just how far you've come. You're going to see that every effort, every sacrifice, every small step forward was worth it. But that only happens if you stop looking at everyone else and start focusing on you. At the end of the day, the only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. The only competition that matters is the one you have with yourself. So step up, stay focused, do the work, and keep proving to yourself that you are capable of more. People will doubt you, they will question you, some will laugh at you, some will ignore you, and some will wait for you to fail just so they can say, I told you so. But let me tell you something, none of that matters. Because belief, it's not something you wait for, it's something you build. And the only person who truly needs to believe in you is you. See, too many people go through life searching for validation. They want someone to tell them they're on the right path. They want someone to recognize their potential, to see their greatness, to say, I believe in you. And when they don't get that, they hesitate, they shrink, they start questioning themselves. But let me ask you this, what happens when nobody claps for you? What happens when nobody sees the vision but you? Do you stop? Do you quit? Do you let their doubts become your doubts? Nobody owes you belief. Nobody is required to see your vision. It's yours for a reason. It was put inside you, not them. And if you need someone else to believe in you before you take action, you're giving them power over your destiny. You're letting them decide what you can and cannot do. And that's a mistake. Greatness has never come from waiting for approval. The people who change the world, the people who achieve the impossible, the people who break barriers and rewrite history, they didn't do it because the world believed in them first. They did it because they believed in themselves when nobody else did. Think about that. Every great athlete, every successful entrepreneur, every artist, every innovator, they all started with a vision that nobody else could see. They all had moments where people doubted them, where doors were slammed in their face, where they were told, you can't do this, but they didn't let that stop them because they understood something most people don't. Belief is a personal responsibility. You don't need people to cheer for you before you put in the work. You don't need people to understand your journey before you take the first step. You don't need applause to be great. What you need is the discipline to show up every single day, even when nobody is watching. What you need is the mindset to keep going, even when the results aren't showing yet. What you need is to trust yourself, even when the world gives you every reason to doubt. Because here's the truth. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Confidence isn't something people give you. It's something you earn by proving to yourself over and over again that you are capable, that you are strong enough, that you have what it takes. And the only way you prove that? By doing the work, by getting up every morning and pushing forward even when you feel like quitting, by showing up for yourself even when no one is clapping. So stop waiting. Stop looking around for permission. Stop thinking you need someone else's belief to move forward. Nobody is coming to hand you confidence. Nobody is coming to give you permission. It's on you. Believe in yourself. Back yourself. And prove to yourself day after day that you are everything you say you are. Because when you do that, when you build that unshakable belief in yourself, nothing and no one can stop you. You either make progress or you make excuses. You don't get both. That's the reality. Every single day you wake up with a choice. Move forward or stay stagnant. Push yourself or give yourself another reason why you can't. And let me tell you something. Excuses will always be available. They're easy, they're convenient, they're comfortable. But progress requires effort. It demands sacrifice. It asks for more from you than you might be willing to give. And that's why so many people never reach their potential. Not because they aren't capable, but because they let their excuses win. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you said, I don't have time, I don't have the resources, I don't have the right people around me? You think successful people don't have those same challenges? You think they don't struggle? You think they don't wake up some days and feel tired, unmotivated, overwhelmed? The difference is they don't let those feelings control them. They don't let the excuses take over. They do it anyway. Because here's the truth. Nobody cares about why you can't. Nobody is going to hand you success because you had a tough childhood, because you weren't given the same opportunities as someone else, because life hasn't been fair to you. Life isn't fair to anyone. Some people start with more, some people start with less. But where you start is not where you have to finish. You get to decide that. You get to decide if your situation is going to be an excuse or if it's going to be your motivation. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take control. Because when you let excuses run your life, you're giving away your power. You're saying, I can't do this because of something outside of me. But when you own it, when you say, I will find a way, I will make it work, I will do whatever it takes, you put the power back in your hands. And when you take responsibility for your growth, for your discipline, for your consistency, that's when real change happens. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never failing. It's about showing up, even on the hard days. It's about pushing yourself, even when no one is watching. It's about deciding that your dreams are more important than your comfort, because every excuse you make pushes your goals further away. Every time you say not today, you delay your success. Every time you wait for the perfect moment, you waste time you will never get back. And one day, you're going to look back and realize that all those excuses added up to nothing but regret. So ask yourself right now, do you want results or do you want reasons? Do you want progress, or do you want to keep telling yourself the same old story? Do you want to live in potential, or do you want to live in action? Because at the end of the day, nobody is stopping you but you. And the only thing standing between you and your goals is the excuse you're holding on to. Let it go and do the work. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark fades. Anybody can feel inspired for a moment. Anybody can get excited when the goal is fresh, when the vision is clear, when the dream feels close. But what happens when that feeling disappears? What happens when you don't feel like putting in the work, when you're tired, when nobody's watching, when the results aren't coming as fast as you hoped? That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is waking up and doing it anyway. It's pushing past the excuses, past the distractions, past the voice in your head that says, I'll do it tomorrow. No. You do it today. You do it whether you feel like it or not. Because discipline is the only thing that guarantees progress. It's the only thing that separates the dreamers from the doers. People always ask, what's the shortcut to success? And the truth is, discipline is the shortcut. It's the only path. There's no magic pill, no easy way, no secret formula. It's just showing up every single day, doing what you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has disappeared. Look around. Look at the people who are winning, who are excelling, who are living at the level you want to reach. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's consistent. They put in the work when others didn't. They sacrificed when others wouldn't. They stayed focused when others got distracted. They understood that discipline is the price you pay for greatness. The difference between success and failure is not about who wants it more. It's about who is willing to be disciplined when the process gets hard. Everybody wants to be fit, but not everybody is willing to get up and train when it's cold, when it's early, when it's uncomfortable. Everybody wants financial success, but not everybody is willing to put in the extra hours, learn the skills, make the sacrifices necessary to build wealth. Everybody wants to be great at something, but most people aren't willing to do the same small, repetitive, boring tasks every day that lead to mastery. That's why discipline is rare. But if you can master it, if you can build a habit of showing up no matter what, you become unstoppable. Because discipline beats talent. It beats motivation, it beats luck, it beats every excuse you could ever make. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you quit when it got tough? How many times have you let the moment decide your effort instead of your commitment? And where has that gotten you? The people who win in life are not the ones who rely on motivation. They are the ones who have trained themselves to do what needs to be done no matter what. Discipline is freedom. It gives you control over your own life. It puts the power in your hands. Because when you are disciplined, you don't have to hope you'll succeed. You know you will. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you earned it. So from this moment on, stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for the mood to be right. The time is now. The mood does not matter. The work needs to be done. And the ones who do it, the ones who commit, who stay locked in, who show up every single day no matter what, they are the ones who win. Failure is not the end. It is not a label. It is not a curse. It is not proof that you are incapable. Failure is feedback. It is a lesson wrapped in disappointment, a test designed to see if you really want what you say you want. Every time you fall, every time you stumble, every time something doesn't go your way, you have two choices. You can break or you can build. You can use it as an excuse to stop, or you can use it as fuel to push harder. But make no mistake, how you handle failure will determine how far you go. The problem is too many people take failure personally. They think one rejection, one loss, one setback means they are not good enough. But that's a lie. You were never supposed to get it right the first time. You were never supposed to succeed without resistance. Growth comes from struggle. Strength comes from adversity. And if you never fail, you never learn. Look at every successful person you admire, every athlete, every entrepreneur, every leader. Do you think they got there without failing? No. They failed more times than most people even tried. They lost, they fell, they heard no again and again. But what made them different was their response. They didn't take failure as proof they weren't meant to succeed. They took failure as proof they had more to learn. You have to rewire your mind to see failure for what it really is. It is not final. It is not defeat. It is data. It is showing you what works and what doesn't. It is revealing your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. It is pushing you, shaping you, refining you into the person you need to become. Because let me tell you something, if success came easy, if there were no struggle, no setbacks, no lessons to learn, then when you got to the top, you wouldn't be ready for it. Failure humbles you. It forces you to look at yourself honestly. It demands that you adjust, improve, adapt. And if you're smart, you listen. You take the loss, but you don't let it define you. You get back up, but you don't make the same mistake twice. You study your setbacks, you analyze your missteps, and then you move forward. Better, sharper, stronger. The only real failure is quitting. The only real loss is deciding that because something didn't work out the first time, it will never work out. But winners don't think that way. They take every no as motivation to keep going until they get a yes. They take every loss as an opportunity to come back stronger. They take every obstacle as proof that they are on the right path. Because nothing worth having comes easy. So the question is not whether you will fail. The question is, what will you do when you do? Will you fold? Will you let it define you? Or will you stand up, wipe the dust off, and go again? Because those who win in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. They are the ones who use failure as a stepping stone, not a roadblock. You have a choice every time you face rejection, every time you miss the mark, every time things don't go your way. You can see it as the end, or you can see it as part of the process. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. But the one thing you cannot do is let it stop you. Because failure is not final. It is only feedback. And if you listen to it, learn from it, and keep moving forward, success is only a matter of time. Talking about it won't get you there. Wishing for it won't get you there. The only way to win is to do the work. Day in, day out, no shortcuts, no skipping steps, no waiting for the perfect moment. Because there is no perfect moment. The work is the only thing that separates those who achieve from those who only dream. People love the idea of success. They love the vision, the dream, the outcome. But when it comes time to do the work, when it comes time to sacrifice, to push through the struggle, to keep going when it's not easy, that's when most people fall off. Because they don't want the process. They just want the reward. They want the results without the grind. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get what you want, you get what you earn. It's easy to talk about what you're gonna do. It's easy to say, one day, I'm gonna make it. But if you don't wake up every single day and take action toward that goal, it's just talk. And talk doesn't build empires. Talk doesn't create legacies. Talk doesn't make you better. You have to stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days, you'll wake up ready to conquer the world. And other days, you won't even want to get out of bed. That's when discipline has to take over. That's when you have to push yourself even when you don't feel like it. That's when you have to do the work, not because you're inspired, but because you made a decision. And here's the truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. Nobody is going to drag you to the gym, force you to study, make you put in the extra hours. It's on you. It's always been on you. And that's a good thing, because that means you don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for someone to believe in you. You don't have to wait for an opportunity to magically appear. You can start right now, but most people won't. Most people will keep making excuses. They'll keep waiting. They'll keep telling themselves, I'll start next week. I'll do it when I feel ready. I just need a little more time. And before they know it, weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. And they're standing in the same place, wondering why nothing changed. If you want to change your life, you have to do the work. You have to be willing to push through the discomfort. You have to be willing to fail, to stumble, to look foolish, to struggle. And then you have to get up and do it again and again and again. You don't get to quit just because it's hard. You don't get to stop just because you're tired. You don't get to say, maybe this isn't for me just because it didn't happen overnight. That's not how this works. You put in the time, you put in the effort, and you keep going until the results speak for themselves. Because that's the only way to win. Not by talking, not by wishing, not by waiting, by doing.